Good morning. Now we discuss about Hooke's law. It is also known as the linear restoring force. In the mid 17th century, Robert Hooke discovered that the extension of a spring it is proportional to the applied force for both positive and negative displacements. Hooke discovered that the extension of a spring is proportional to the applied force for both positive and negative displacements. That is, the force F is proportional to the displacement x. F is proportional to x. Consider the diagram. Here, this is the spring at equilibrium position. In that case, displacement is equal to 0. Here we consider it as the three cases. It is the first case, and it is the second, and it is the third. Look at the cases. In the first case, the spring is unstretched, uncompressed, or it is in actual equilibrium case. So the extension is 0. Okay. The displacement is 0 here. Then there is no force because Hooke discovered that extension is proportional to applied force. If there is no extension, there is no applied force. The force Fs exerted by a spring is given by Hooke's law, or that is Fs is equal to minus k into x minus x0, where k is a constant called spring constant and x minus x0 is the displacement of the end of the spring from its equilibrium position x0. Okay, here this unstretched length is expressed as x0. Here in this graph, it is denoted as it is equilibrium point. If this is extended, the spring is extended, or if there is an extension, look at here, then the spring force acting backward to attain the equilibrium position. Okay. And so we can say that the important feature of Hooke's law, that the force varies linearly with the displacement and it is always directed towards the equilibrium position. First case, in the second case, we express that if we extend the spring, okay, of if we elongate the applied force acting in this direction, then the spring force acting opposite to bring it to equilibrium position. Okay. Then consider the case 3. Here it is compression occurs. The spring is compressed or it is also displaced from the equilibrium position. Okay. But here we applied the force in this direction. Look at here. In the third case, so it is compressed. Then the spring force acting opposite to that force. Okay, the spring force acting towards the equilibrium point to reach at the equilibrium position. Okay, then we can say that it is always directed towards the equilibrium position. So to express it, when the spring is stretched, x greater than x0, okay, x greater than x0, I write this in different way, x less than x0, x greater than x0, x equal to x0. Okay, when the spring is stretched x greater than x0, then look at the expression. If x is greater than x0, fs must be negative or it is directed towards x0. Okay. And consider the next case. When the spring is compressed, in that case, x is less than x0, x is less than x0, then from this quantity, there must be a negative, then here also a negative, then the total effect must be positive, then Fs is positive. Okay, Fs is positive means it is now it is again directed towards x0. Okay, then the force is always directed towards the equilibrium position. For this reason, Hooke's law force is sometimes called Hooke's law force is sometimes called a linear restoring force. A linear restoring force. Because of always the force directed towards the equilibrium point for restoration of the equilibrium point. For this reason, Hooke's law force is sometimes called linear restoring force. Hooke's law is essentially empirical and breaks down for large displacement. Consider we stretching the spring for very large distance, or we applying the force, very high force is applied. Then what happens? The spring will extend or the spring will stretch. And after removing this force, the spring cannot retain its equilibrium position. So Hooke's law breaks down for large displacements. However, for sufficiently small displacements, Hooke's law is remarkably accurate, not only for springs, but also for practically every system near equilibrium point. This is the curve. We have shown in the case of diatomic molecules. Okay. So this intermolecular force curve again tells why the spring force is so common in nature. In that case, we also say that when the force is very large, the bond will break. Applied force is very large. It overcomes intermolecular force, then the bond will break. Such a thing also happened here because when we stretch the spring very large distance, it cannot retain its equilibrium position. Okay. If the force curve is linear in the neighborhood of the equilibrium point, okay, it is the equilibrium point, then it is linear in these regions, isn't it? It is linear in this region. So in the neighborhood of the equilibrium point, the force is proportional to the displacement from the equilibrium. If the force is very large, then the displacement from the equilibrium point must be very large. Then we cannot say that the force is linear. Then Hooke's law is not satisfied. So Hooke's law breakdowns for large displacements. It can be applied only the neighborhood of the equilibrium points. This is almost always the case in physics. A sufficiently short segment force versus displacement is generally linear to a good approximation. This statement is come from a mathematical treatment, that is Taylor series expansion. We will discuss the Taylor series expansion in later cases. From such an approximation, it will come that for short segments of forces versus displacement is generally linear. Okay, so we call the Hooke's law is a linear restoring force. And what is an important point here? Hooke's law breaks down for large displacement. So I stop Hooke's law here. We will discuss a motion connected with spring, that a spring and a block in the next session. Thank you.